You're supposed to be forecast when
You're
you
right.
do a wedding.
Okay, we'll call the October 6th meeting, Lafayette City Council, where please rise. Followed by pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilmember Alexander. Here. Councilmember Brand. Here. Councilmember Brinker.
Here.
Councilmember Conklin.
Here.
Councilmember Missouri. Here. Councilmember Stevenson.
Here.
Mayor Long.
Here. Approval of the minutes from the September 22nd regular meeting.
Move approval.
I will second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brand.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yep.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Public comments, comments from residents or city taxpayers. Okay. Or B, the 2026 budget and funding requests.
This year, the Ross Library, Downtown Lock Haven, SPCA, Clinton County Historical Society, Roads to Peace, Lock Haven EMS, and Hope Springs were all requested to provide information to City Council if they were interested in receiving or being considered, I should say, for contributions as they have been in previous years. And so this evening, some of those individuals were able to attend in person and some were not able to attend in person. But we did get letters from everyone. The Annie Hollenbeck Ross Library provided a letter of interest in continued funding. And for reference, in 2025, council approved a donation of $35,800. And the request from the Ross Library for next year is $36,000. Downtown Lock Haven also submitted a request. I don't believe anyone's here from Downtown Lock Haven on their behalf, but we do have members of council who participate in that. Downtown Lock Haven, for reference, last year received $17,600 and this year requested $18,000. The Clinton County SPCA does have a representative here, which I believe is Kristen. And they have provided a letter and are asking to again be included in council's funding to help support the work that they do. Did you have anything to add about?
I'd just like to stress the importance to the community of our trap, neuter, and return program. It's in the letter, which I'm sure you all have. What we've done so far this year, it's an ongoing program. And it definitely helps reduce the population of the community cat population, which has many benefits to the community. One female cat can produce 3 litters of kittens per year with an average of 5 kittens per litter. So you can see how that could quickly become a problem. So the county SPCA offers this program, and we feel that it is in the city's best interest to help us participate with us in this program, as well as the citizens, and certainly appreciate your consideration. Do you have any questions?
Questions for council? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Clinton County Historical Society. Mrs. Joanne Bose is here from that organization.
Hi, I want to thank you for your continued support in our mission of collecting, preserving, and sharing the history of Clinton County. Many of you may know that we have 5 properties and 2 are on the historic register, which is the Heisey House Museum, Heisey House, and the Ferrisville Furnace. We have the Castanea Railroad Station with its 2 Airbnb cabooses, and now a yard jockey right at the beginning of the Baldwin Valley Trail. And we have the Barton Street School, also previously known as the Allison Township School, up on Barton Street that is, got new paint this year, new windows, getting a new door and a new roof. We are a board of 15 volunteers and who oversee and run all of this. Groups that have used our Portland Gallery for meetings this year. Lock Haven Rotary, the Highland Cemetery Association, North Central PA Conservancy, the Clinton County Genealogy Society, which has a room in the building for storage of their materials. Dogwood Circle Garden Club, Leaders of Clinton County, and at this time, the local artist is showing her artwork in our halls, and she has painted scenes of Clinton County and is donating her painting of the Baronsville Furnace to the Historical Society as a fundraiser. We posted or had available private parties like a shower. We field research questions with people from all over the country. A lot of them come via email, questions about family genealogy or Lock Haven's early days. You know, my grandfather had a store on Main Street. Can you tell me about this? And so we get things like that. We provide opportunities for community service projects. We've hosted local schools, fourth graders and fifth graders and sixth graders this year as they learn American history and Lock Haven's place in the history of Pennsylvania. Scout groups have come for tours, and we offer free programs on Sundays of historical interest to the area. And we do not charge for tours, and we do not charge for programs because we want to be available. We don't want money to be a reason that people do not come to visit Historical Society. So with all that, we're asking this year for an increase of $500 for a total of $3,000 in the budget, and we would most appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Roads to Peace. They've provided a letter, and I believe Amanda Pease is here. If you have any questions about the programs and projects that they are part of. Roads to Peace last year, for your reference, received $1,000 from the city's general.
So Amanda,
Yes, Amanda.
would you like to speak on this?
I just wanted to say thank you for continuing to support the Clinton County Resource for Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Services for the victims and survivors.
Questions?
Next on your list is actually new, regardless of what the error in your 23, 24, 25 columns is. Lock Haven EMS was considered as part of the CDBG program. That project was pulled to see if instead it could be included in this year's budget. This would be a request from Lock Haven EMS to reduce the overall cost or contribute to the overall cost of $29,810 for the installation of emergency generator at the facility. As part of that, that will be something you will consider not as a general fund donation, but as a donation from the capital project fund of the general fund, which is Fund 16. That's an annual allocation that you make to the capital project fund at this time of year. And then later in the year, you determine its ultimate use and distribution, usually about March. Obviously, for several big projects, we haven't had little projects. And so we'll put that back on this year so that you make that ultimate decision by the end of the year or by the end of March.
So is this a either or request? We're doing one, or we doing the other one? too, or,
No, it is no longer included in the CDBG program.
right?
So that it would be partially funded from your capital projects. The amount of that funding ultimately will be part of the budget discussion, because it'll have to be included in the annual transfer to the projects. Which we are nearing the discussion to the general fund. Right.
Okay.
And hopefully, the last letter and request that you have this year is from Hope's Dream. I do know at least one member of council is associated with that organization. They have requested for continued funding and support and provided you a letter as well. Last year, they received $3,500 in an allocation from the general. We'll take action on that during the budget process for the general fund, which will begin in November of this year.
Anybody have any questions on that? All right. 4C, use of Perry's Alley and North Vesper Street.
This is the annual request from the Buckhaven YMCA for the closure of Perry's Alley and Vesper Street from Water Street to the levee on October 30th from 5:30 to 7 for their trunk or treat event. And if approved, this would need a second reading. And I'll work with the organizers to ensure the residents are notified of any parking issues. I know that was requested last year. And then I'll work with police and public works as well.
Do I have a motion?
I move approval. I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander. Yes. Councilmember Brandon.
Yeah.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. 4D, use of Zendel Park.
Emily Duff is requesting the use of Zindel Park on November 1st for a small wedding ceremony, and if approved, I'll work with her to ensure all rules and regulations are adhered to and paperwork is submitted.
Do I have a motion?
Approval.
I'll second.
Motion for a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander. Yes. Councilmember Brandon. Yes. Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. 4E, use of North Grove Street for the 2026 Old Corner events.
This is the annual request from the Old Corner for the use of Grove Street from Miller's Alley to East Church Street for outdoor dining and live music, for May 22nd, June 5th through 6th, June 19th through 20th, July 10th to 11th, July 24th and 25th, August 7th and 8th, and August 21st and 22nd. And Sean is here as well.
Would you like to address council?
Yeah, first, thank you. It was great last year, every other weekend, twice a month, it worked out absolutely great. Thank you for that. Also like to thank, I don't think Uncle Al was here, but they did some events this year and they had a tremendous turnout at their, so kudos to them as well. Going into next year, the reason I'm asking so early, as you know, we gotta book bands quicker than rather than later and all that stuff. So, there's a date in June or July that I may come back and play with, and that depending on Kyle Coleman's, Riverfest. That's the only one in limbo that he didn't have dates for me yet, but I don't wanna try to compete with Riverfest, so we may change it. Other than that, thank you again.
Yes, sir.
You're asking for May 22nd is a Friday, but not Saturday, the 23rd. Is that a typo or didn't you want Saturday?
I did not want Saturday. I am booked for a wedding, for catering that.
So it'll be
weekend.
Friday night only.
Friday night only that weekend.
Just want to make sure, so we have it right.
Other questions?
So since the chief of police is here, can I just ask a question if we have had any issues at all with the street closures there?
Not
That
that
you-
I'm aware of.
okay.
As far as, calls for service there, I'd have to go back through the records. but
Okay.
Nothing stands out,
Okay,
nothing significant. I do know that the officers do their best to try and get down on foot to,
Okay.
walk through the events. And that's not just for the Old Corner events, but all the events in town. So that
Perfect.
seems to help quite a bit as well.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Other questions?
I'll move the street closure request.
Second.
A motion floor and a second, any, further comments?
One of the days is my birthday, and I picked the band for that day.
Then maybe you should wait till after we go, so it doesn't seem like you're.
Oh, true. I was joking.
Any other serious questions? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Abstain. Okay, motion. Any other, requests?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay. Unfinished business. 5A, consideration of the adoption of the collective bargaining agreement with the Lock Haven Police Officers Association.
Council's been provided, excuse me, the portions of the collective bargaining agreement that will be edited as part of the negotiation with the Lock Haven Police Officers Association for the period that will begin on January 1st, 2026. It continues through December 31st, 2028. The 3-year agreement incorporates the current 12-hour memorandum of understanding into the scheduling, as well as restore some former provisions regarding holidays. And the salary for the increase each year will be set at 3%. And the officers will contribute 2% of their W-2 earnings to the city's police pension.
What's the wish of council?
I move approval.
Second.
Thank you. I'd like to say before we move forward that those of us who served on the negotiating committee want to thank those officers that took their time and spent their time with us. And I think this year's negotiation went pretty smoothly and was as enjoyable an experience as a negotiation like that can be.
It was great. Everybody got along. I think there was a lot of really positive back and forth, and the police were really happy, and I felt like it was a good overall negotiation.
Agreed. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. 5B, consideration extension of the recycling agreement with Wayne Township Landfill.
The current agreement with the Wayne Township landfill for the pickup of curbside recycling, as well as the recycling center pickup, is included here for council's review and hopeful endorsement. This would raise the cost that we would pay to the Wayne Township landfill by 2.5% per year. It would also retain the revenue sharing portion, which last year netted the city an additional $3,432 in a return of the money that it invested in curbside recycling.
Do I have a motion?
I move approval.
Second.
A motion on the floor and a second. Questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. 5C, continued discussion about the appropriate legal use of e-bikes and scooters. Before we get into this, I would just like to comment quick. I received an email from someone about our discussion the last time, pointing out many things that are issues within the city as far as laws being broken, involving cars and so on. We don't mean to come off as though those things are not important. The police department is already aware of DUIs and things like that that happen in the city and outside the city. This is just a new thing, which is why it came up for discussion. Obviously, those things are important as well. But this is something that a lot of places aren't prepared for in any way. And that's why the discussion started on how can we combat this new concern. So, Chief, how are you?
E-bikes, scooters, oh my lord. Well, so I think the big problem we have, and it's not, well, it's a combination, it's e-bikes, it's scooters, it's bicycles. My goodness, I've spoken to just about each and every one of you regarding this topic at some point or another. Mr. Mayor, we've spoken about personal mobility devices causing an issue.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think an elderly person would be out causing problems, but we haven't. And we're seeing that this isn't all kids on, bicycles or kids on e-bikes. There's a lot of adults that are out there. I see it. So I think our course of action, the action that we've been taking is I've tasked the officers to be out enforcing these laws, the e-bike laws. I have them, I believe there are copies of their packets as well. And beyond enforcement, I think it's awareness. I'd really like to get back on the air, if you will, and get some public service announcements out. Maybe that will help, but it's gonna take a whole lot of effort on the officer's part, my part, and just raising awareness throughout the community about what rules and regulations that these operators must follow. And prior to the council meeting, I know when I grew up, you knew you had to follow the rules of the road on a bicycle. And now throw in an e-bike that goes twice, 3 times as fast, and we see it, the officers are aware of it. The issue we're having right now, we're short. We're 3 officers short. We're fixing that. We're doing really well at fixing that. I'm very proud to report that. But a lot of that patrol time is taken up with, we have 1 officer out on a 12-hour shift sometimes. And they're handling 10, 12, 15 calls. They just don't have the time to be enforcing the patrol like we would like. And I'm sure you would like this council and everybody in the community, but we're fixing it. So we're off to a good start with that. Happy to report. Other than the laws and how we combat this, if there's any questions you might have, feel free. We're happy to answer it.
Anyone have any questions for the chief?
If we catch somebody doing this and they're riding the wrong way, if too fast on an e-bike, and we catch them, do we give them a warning? Or what's the fine?
Well,
Is a fine stiff enough to deter?
The current fine is not.
I was gonna say, if it's like $10 or something, forget it, I'll
And then you
take the $10 hit.
things like that, but I told the officers, we're gonna start this approach with counseling, basically, educate these folks, hey, you cannot just drive down the street at 20 miles an hour and blow every stop sign on Bald Eagle Street. You're gonna hurt somebody or yourself, and you're violating the law, so educate them. And then these officers meet enough people that they remember, oh, I stopped you last week. This week I might not be so nice. So education is, I think, the ticket off this start here out of the gate.
Do you have a plan to put one together, an educational plan or a PR campaign, or
Well,
is our community light person gonna help with the Rangers? And
We have made a Ranger video.
that's a very good idea.
But
Thank you for that.
we should definitely do some more.
I think a good place to start is your next meeting, you will see a more refined ordinance than what there currently is, because the current ordinance just addresses pedal cycles, basically anything you pedal. But it doesn't address really a lot of the newer vehicles that are out there. The most important thing to remember is between now and then, if you are on a scooter, like a Jazzy hoverbound, that is for your mobility because of your disability, that is replacing your kind of way that you get around as a pedestrian.
Right.
So that is only legally allowed to be used on a sidewalk. It is never legal to have that in the street, ever. On the other hand, if you are using a bicycle, that is only legally allowed to be operated in the street as any other bicycle. So an e-bike is a street-only vehicle. It is not a sidewalk vehicle. And conversely, you know, the pedestrian walkway, sidewalk is for people who are on up around mobility devices. So if people could keep that straight, we'd all be better off, but we need to refine the ordinance itself. And as part of that, this is part of the public education campaign to try to get the word out there, try to get it into the papers, then continue the discussion with an ordinance, then continue with, you know, other measures that we have. We could even potentially do a door hanger. Most of our door hangers, we've been able to work with the university to get distributed on campus as well. And that's been very helpful, especially when it comes to being a good neighbor, cycling and things like that. So.
While you're on that, about the difference between pedestrian and, I think it's important because it seems to be that, and partially probably because we promote the levee as being a fitness kind of thing, go for a walk on levee. You're not allowed to have bikes up there, and we have been seeing that quite a bit as well. Again, it's a safety issue. You go down over the edge of that levee where the rocks are, and you're not gonna make out very well over it, but it's also not legal to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to pronounce this very specifically because it was misspelled in the newspaper last time. Rip rap, not riff rap.
Yeah.
So anyways, you do not want to fall from your bicycle into the rip rap. You do not want to fall from your mobility device into the rip rap. It can be very, very dangerous, and it's meant to stay there when ice moves, so it doesn't have any give to it. So, yeah, prohibited use of bicycles on the levee, and you have to pass over or buy a sign that says no bikes in order to get your bike out there. So what you see online is not always true. That's, if you go on Google and say, how can I get from A to B on my bicycle? It may show you that, but that's not an accurate way to get.
Well, and the business district is no vehicles at all. Bikes, skateboards, I've seen bicycles going slow and fast, and people coming right out of stores, and they don't look left and right for a bicycle coming by. They've been hit, and there's been some pretty close calls. So there's no bikes allowed on Main Street, business
On
district,
the sidewalks.
on the sidewalks.
In the business.
But then there's another section for residential for the housing and elderly. One of them is Lockhaven University. And it says all sidewalks adjoining the property and all sidewalks within LHU property. So that means nothing on campus, but I see a lot of them. That's how they get around. It's how they get down to East Campus and back and forth and Railroad Street.
Sure, and that may be something we may look at revising in the next ordinance.
Let's go around. And we don't want to prohibit the kids that are 3 and 4-year-old learning to ride their bikes up on South Summit Street or on the sidewalks. You can ride them up there.
The intent is exactly as you explained. I had this conversation with a lot of business owners as well, coming out of the business, whether it's them or their customers,
Yeah.
and almost getting run over
Yeah.
by it. And in a lot of cases, an adult on a bicycle downtown just,
Why? Yeah.
yeah, and so.
So you're gonna issue spike strips to us?
Well,
But on that note, you can, and I have on the levee, when I've been walking on the levee and a bike speeds by, I yell out, no bikes on the levee, and I usually get some sort of finger pointed back at me. But we can, as community members, say, hey, you need to do this on the street. Don't do this on the levee. The police don't have to give a ticket. It is also community.
Yeah.
As a
We
community, we have the ability to.
police ourselves.
Yeah,
in each other.
And I think everybody's goal is safety. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I realize it might sound like we're being picky, what have you, but I really believe, I know myself personally, the goal is safety. I mean, that somebody riding a bike really fast on Main Street is so, on the sidewalk is so dangerous. So I really,
Her bike counts.
because it's really one of the last,
She doesn't have a
Warm-
backlight now.
I
It's
do
not working. We need to inspect that.
have a
I think I have to
front
put it in my vehicle, probably haul her home,
problem.
because it's dark now and she's not lit. Well, she might be lit.
We digress.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Um,
moving on.
Somebody had something else over here?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, it is a safety issue, that's why I yell at people, I don't yell at people, that's why I shout at people. and that's why
You try to
I-
inform them.
I try to inform them because we are usually walking on the levee with our dog, and our dog, I don't know if other people's dogs do this, but our dog thinks the whole width of the levee is his. And he goes to the left and sniffs, and then he goes to the right and sniffs, and left and sniffs and right, and we zigzag all the way down the levee. I would hate for someone on a bike to come up as he's going to the left when we are standing on the right, and then they run into his leash, and yeah, it just seems like an accident waiting to happen, so.
Well, and to be clear, the use at your own risk messages applies to those legal uses
Yeah,
of the levy. I had one biker tell me it says use at your own risk. I said, that's not what it means. Use at your own risk has to do with the legal uses of the levy. You're not allowed to have your bike out there. Anything else? Chief, thank you, and we look forward to the continued discussion on how this can get better.
Thank you all.
5D, SRBC approval of Matson Quaker Hill Road.
This is for council's information, and the Suburban Water Authority, as well as the Central Clinton County Water Filtration Authority, have been provided this information. The Susquehanna River Basin Commission has approved permitting the city's new wells on Youngdale Road at Max and Quaker Hill for a combined 1.44 million gallons per day on average. Withdrawal to supplement the water system during the process of Keller Dam being taken offline, but of course it has a long-lasting impact as well. They're usable going forward when there are water quality issues or during a drought, so we don't have to take the water from the river. They also produce a new source of water to help with future expansion in the entire footprint of the water area.
Any other unfinished business?
And, one item that appears in council's packet but does not have a line item, and that is just informational. At your next council meeting, we'll continue discussion about Pennsylvania opioid misuse and addiction abatement trust distributions. The city has 2 distributions that need to be allocated by the end of this year. And one of the qualifying purposes for that is the co-responder program that the city currently enjoys with our police department, and supporting that program, which is mostly grant driven. The amount that would be available for council's consideration at next meeting, if it so chooses, would be $9,561.33 to allocate to the organization that oversees the co-responder to help perpetuate that program.
Anything else?
I have nothing here.
Okay. New business, 6A, authorization for PennDOT to perform the appropriate study to implement length restrictions on select streets.
This is a study to be performed based on length restrictions, not weight restrictions. There are 2 different categories under Pennsylvania's Title 75, 4902, and we are talking about B, which is length restrictions. This deals with a lot of the area in what one would call the hill of the city of Lock Haven. And the director or chief of police, along with the superintendent of public works and the street foreman, identified several of the streets that are the most problematic when you have something like a tractor trailer go down through those neighborhoods. And so, adding the additional signage that these are reduced because of length restriction, provides an additional knowledge base for people. If you go down here, it's very unlikely that you will get out. Now, in order to consider that, council needs to have a engineering study done. Fortunately, the superintendent of public works was able to talk to PennDOT, and through their LTAP program, they will actually be able to come and perform that for us, which is great because that's a cost savings to the city. And so with council's approval, we will arrange with PennDOT to have that study performed, to come back to you with the recommendations from the study. A lot of it has to do with the turning radius at different intersections. And so, yet another way to try to notify people, but also enforce when vehicles go into the residential areas that should not be there.
I, as someone who lives on South Fairview Street, I will tell you the amount of tractor trailers that get stuck trying to turn from Bald Eagle onto South Fairview Street. It happens at least once a week. So, and then we get stuck waiting for them to get unstuck. So thank you.
Would you like to make the motion?
I will absolutely make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I will second it. I will not South Highland, it's there all the time.
I have a motion on the floor and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's Michael Clausen, South Pond Avenue. Can you add Third Avenue? Because right now it says no trucks. I've got a short truck that legally I can't turn onto it, but it claims just fine. Because it's short.
We actually had a traffic study done on Third already, which is what was the determining factor for the turning radius, to have that mark no truck.
Right, but
So that has actually been performed already for with the engineering study.
So then I would guess the next question, tell me if I'm wrong, is does that study allow for a modification of what that actually means? No trucks or trucks of a certain length? Am I right?
yes,
Would be up to council if you want to add Third Avenue. And if you do add it, we'll just provide the prior study to the engineers for that.
I think it has to do with, once you get turned on Third Avenue, do you get stuck somewhere? And you don't when you get to Maple, and you don't when you get to the next one. So I'm not sure they can get stuck somewhere and not be able to make a turn. I think that's some of the determining length restriction things because of inability to make the turn.
Well, we have a motion for and a second. Are you willing to modify the motion to
Yeah.
include that?
I am willing to modify the motion to include, giving that already done study to the PennDOT engineers to have them review it, see if length matters or not.
And you're willing to
Absolutely.
continue to second. All right, there you are. We have a motion for any other questions or comments? Call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes,
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Okay, 6B, consideration of the appointment of Josh Kepler and Carrie Kepler as auxiliary drivers for East Side Fire Rescue.
The Lock Haven Fire Advisory Board is recommending to council that Josh Kepler and Carrie Kepler be placed on the auxiliary driver list. They are associated with East Side Fire Rescue.
I move approval. I'll second.
Motion on the floor and a second. Questions or comments on the motion?
Do they have the rest? I see they have CDL and they have driving experience, but do they have EVOC certification, and do they have their firefighting certifications?
They have everything that's required in the city's
They just didn't-
firefighter
mention
training
that.
manual.
That was important.
Any other questions?
That was important though.
Okay. All right, call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Okay, 6C, Comcast franchise fee distribution.
This is so that the minutes will reflect that the second quarter 2025 distribution of the Comcast franchise fee for $20,000, $981.26.
Thank you. 6D, Cop Ryan and Hauser rate increase.
This is to inform council that effective January 1st, the municipal rate for Copland, Ryan and Hauser will increase from 140 an hour by $10 more, sorry, per hour for this municipal line.
Early bird, budget.
You will not get a copy of the sewer fund tonight, but you will get it this week. And if council members have any questions about the water fund so far, again, a lot of it is projection because we don't know the cost of water yet or the cost to treat water from the filtration authority. We do know that the cost of maintaining the untreated water supply is about $820,000 a year. Basically, more than a third of the city's entire budget for water is just the cost of maintaining and obtaining and sending to the filtration authority. That is one of our kind of largest drivers of expense. The other, of course, wages, benefits, and supplies for repairs. And as we discussed last week, there are a variety of meters that need to be replaced. And fortunately, our water crew went to a training on leak detection. And at that, they were able to review the newest meter that does actually provide leak detection services itself between it and like the next adjoining meter. So now meter companies have developed a kind of system where it can communicate to another meter and act like two loggers, checking between each other for leaks and notify of any anomalies. So that's a very nice upgrade in meters. Those meters right now are slightly less expensive than the meters we currently buy. And so we are looking at that as a cost option for savings when it comes to the large meters that we also need to replace because they do provide in the unit itself leak detection. There's no extra charge for remote reading. So that's included in the meter. Right now, the meters that we purchased, we have to buy an extra piece if we want to do a radio read. So this has that built into it. So they do look like a good option. We'll have to discuss it with the engineers. But that could reduce what is basically about $64,000 in large meter replacements that are outdated, down by maybe $10,000–15,000. So that would be significant. And that is most of the meters with First Quality, the hospital facility itself, a couple at Commonwealth University of Lock Haven, Housing Authority, the YMCA, West Markets. These are larger meters in some cases not, but they are some of our oldest, are actually our commercial and industrial. And so their life expectancy is 20 years. Most of these have exceeded that, so they do need to be replaced. And that should give us more accurate readings. The landfill itself has probably 3 meters that we will need to upgrade. And so we're in discussion with them to locate those at appropriate places where there's an interconnect between our main and their lines. And so the engineer's working on that along with the superintendent of public works, who fortunately knows people there because he used to work there. So that's been nice to be able to have that communication going on between all of these parties so that we can try to get things put together and buttoned up and hopefully account for more water with each billing cycle.
Do we have any other new business?
I have none here.
Okay, so we have the Overland Park update, the Sunset Lines update. These are these shots, these are nice shots, are they on our webpage as well?
No, I don't believe that they are.
So the public can see what's going on.
I believe it is updated on the civil space page very regularly.
Good, thank you. Yes, Mayor, go ahead.
Question about a little bit. So in the press, I mean, the final comments are that it's nearing completion. So when we were down there a couple of weeks ago, there was some significant, and I think it's from construction, but I'm not sure. Areas on the trail that are gonna be rebuilt before that will be shown to the public. I mean, hopefully, they have to be near the parking lot, the new parking lot. So I think that's probably why, I think they probably want some equipment over there, but they're showing signs of, well, there's trip hazards. So,
I just talked with Carter about that today.
okay, very good, thank you.
Anything else? Anybody have anything to bring forward from their committees they serve on? Anybody have anything else to bring before council? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
For